Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Greek ebook before it's gone.
Welcome to GreekPod101.com's Ελληνικά σε 3 λεπτά. The fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn Greek. Γεια, λέγομαι Χρυσή. Χαίρομαι πολύ. Hi, I'm Chrissy. Pleased to meet you. In this series, we are going to learn basic Greek expressions. It is super easy and it only takes 3 minutes. In this lesson, you are going to learn how to introduce yourself in Greek. There are only 2 sentences you need to do it. But first, it is important to clarify that in Greek, there is a difference between formal and informal language. Let's first see how Greek people introduce themselves in an informal situation. Γεια, λέγομαι Χρυσή. Χαίρομαι πολύ. Hi, I'm Chrissy. Pleased to meet you. Γεια, λέγομαι Χρυσή. Χαίρομαι πολύ. Start by saying γεια, λέγομαι, then say your name. Γεια, λέγομαι Χρυσή. Finally, say χαίρομαι πολύ. Γεια, λέγομαι Χρυσή. Χαίρομαι πολύ. And now, let's see the same sentence in formal speech. Χαίρετε, λέγομαι Χρυσή Παπαδοπούλου. Χαίρομαι πολύ για τη γνωριμία. Hello, my name is Chrissy Papadopoulou. Pleased to make your acquaintance. Χαίρετε, λέγομαι Χρυσή Παπαδοπούλου. Χαίρομαι πολύ για τη γνωριμία. So what has changed from the previous introduction? Let's take a close look at this together. Ya has been substituted with the formal greeting χαίρετε, Greek for rejoice. Λέγομαι Χρυσή has not been changed. Λέγομαι stands in both cases for my name is. However, during a formal self-introduction, we also say our last name. So I said Χρυσή Παπαδοπούλου. Here, you would say your full name. Finally, there is one more change to the ending. We added the words για τη γνωριμία to the phrase χαίρομαι πολύ. In informal cases, we can just say χαίρομαι πολύ. Literally, I'm happy or pleased. But in formal cases, it's good to add για τη γνωριμία, which is Greek for the acquaintance. Or in this case, your acquaintance. One more time. The informal way to introduce yourself in Greek is γεια, λέγομαι Χρυσή, χαίρομαι πολύ. The formal way to introduce yourself is χαίρετε, λέγομαι Χρυσή Παπαδοπούλου, χαίρομαι πολύ για τη γνωριμία. Now it's time for Chrissy's insights. Greek people usually shake hands when they meet someone, sometimes extremely vigorously. So accompany your introduction with your best firm handshake. And if you're not sure if you have to use the formal or the informal greeting, the informal greeting χαίρομαι πολύ is not considered rude. It is acceptable and used widely even in formal situations. Do you know how we say thank you in Greek? You'll learn how to say this and many other words in the next lesson. Θα τα ξαναπούμε στο επόμενο μάθημα. See you then! Γεια, λέγομαι Χρυσή. Hi everybody, I'm Chrissy. Welcome to GreekPod101.com's Ελληνικά σε 3 λεπτά. The fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn Greek. In the last lesson, we learned how to introduce ourselves in Greek. In this lesson, we are going to learn how to use good manners as we thank people. Είστε έτοιμοι? Are you ready? Ξεκινάμε, so let's start. There are several ways to thank someone. Let's start with the easiest. It is just one word. Ευχαριστώ. Ευχαριστώ. Ευχαριστώ means thanks. When saying thanks very much, you just need to add πολύ. Ευχαριστώ πολύ. Ευχαριστώ πολύ. Πολύ means a lot, so ευχαριστώ πολύ is like saying thanks very much. During the last lesson, we talked about both the informal and the formal way of speaking Greek. Ευχαριστώ is a casual way to thank someone. If you want to be more formal, there is another phrase you should use. Σας ευχαριστώ πολύ or σε ευχαριστώ πολύ. Σας ευχαριστώ πολύ or σε ευχαριστώ πολύ. Let's break this phrase down. The σε or σας before ευχαριστώ πολύ literally means you in the second person singular and the second person plural, which is the form used for being formal in Greek. In the plain ευχαριστώ there is no you included, but here we use it and make the phrase sound more polite. Depending on the formality of the situation, we will use σε or σας. How do you answer? It's easy. There are basically two different ways to do it. The first is τίποτα. Τίποτα. Τίποτα literally means it's nothing, but it is the equivalent of you are welcome. The other way to say you're welcome is the expression παρακαλώ. Παρακαλώ. Literally, this phrase means I beg or please, but it has become a common and polite way to respond to someone thanking you. So when someone says ευχαριστώ to you, we can simply reply with τίποτα or παρακαλώ. Now it's time for Chris's insights. If you're not sure about whether to use ευχαριστώ or σας ευχαριστώ πολύ, keeping it simple is always your safest bet. You don't have to worry about formal or informal situations. Ευχαριστώ can be used with just about anyone, anywhere, and at any time. Do you know what addio means? In our next lesson, you'll learn this and other greetings in Greek. Addio και ευχαριστώ. Ραντεβού στο επόμενο μάθημα.
Γεια, λέγομαι Χρυσή. Hi everybody, I'm Chrissy. Welcome to GreekPod101.com's ελληνικά σε 3 λεπτά. The fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn Greek. In the last lesson, we learned how to be grateful to people by saying ευχαριστώ. In this lesson, we'll learn some of the most common greetings used in Greece. Είστε έτοιμοι? Are you ready? Ξεκινάμε, so let's start. The most used informal greeting is γεια. Ya. Ya means hi, hello, or goodbye. We use it when we meet, but also when we leave. We should only use this greeting with friends or relatives. If you want to be more formal, you need to pay attention to the time of day. The most common phrase is kalimera. Kalimera. Literally, kalimera means good day. However, we may also interpret it as good morning or good afternoon. As a rule of thumb, we can use kalimera only during the daytime, from morning until early afternoon. During the late afternoon and evening, we say kalispera. Kalispera. Espera or spera is ancient Greek for the part of the day after sunset. So kalispera means good afternoon or good evening. Kalimera and kalispera are used when we meet someone, but when we leave, we don't say them again. In this formal situation, Greek people use addio. Addio. Addio means goodbye. If you're leaving after around 8 p.m., you can say kalinichta, which literally means good night. Kalinichta. Finally, it is very common in Greek to use the informal hi we introduced in the beginning of this lesson as a parting greeting as well. Γεια. Ya. Now you can greet people in many different ways in Greek. Let's review them all again. When greeting in an informal situation, we say ya. When greeting in a formal situation, we say kalimera or kalispera. When leaving in a formal situation, addio. When leaving in an informal situation, ya. It's easy, isn't it? Now it's time for Chris's insights. In formal situations, Greek people commonly greet each other by shaking hands. On the other hand, if we meet someone we are very friendly with, we kiss each other on both cheeks. Don't be afraid to do it with your Greek friends. It's normal. During the next lesson, we'll learn the meaning of the phrase «Μιλάτε αγγλικά». Do you already know it? We'll be waiting to talk about it with you in our next Ελληνικά σε 3 λεπτά lesson. Γεια! Γεια, λέγομαι Χρυσή. Hi everybody, I'm Chrissy. Welcome to GreekPod101.com's Ελληνικά σε 3 λεπτά. The fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn Greek. In the last lesson, we learned the most common forms of greetings in Greek. Do you remember them? In this lesson, we are going to learn a very useful phrase. Do you speak English? If you find yourself in a situation where you need assistance in English, this phrase can be a lifesaver. And because you are asking it in Greek, you can be sure that everyone will understand what you're saying, even if their answer is no. Here is the informal way to say it. Μιλάς αγγλικά. Μιλάς αγγλικά. Μιλάς is to speak, and αγγλικά is English. In Greek, verbs change depending on who the subject is. The word μιλάς is conjugated from the verb μιλάω, which means to speak. By the ending s, we understand this is the second person singular. This is the informal way to say you speak. You will notice that the personal pronoun itself, the word you, is missing. This happens very often in Greek. Because the verb ending changes depending on the subject, you don't need to actually say the subject in order to be understood. To learn how to properly conjugate omega verbs like μιλάω, please look at our Absolute Beginner series on GreekPod101.com. You can find very detailed grammar lessons and resources there. We are now going to make this sentence formal. This is done by using the formal version of you, which is εσείς. If we change the word for you, we will conjugate μιλάω differently. It becomes μιλάτε. Everything else stays the same. Μιλάτε αγγλικά. Μιλάτε αγγλικά. Adding συγγνώμη, excuse me, the sentence becomes even more polite. Συγγνώμη, μιλάτε αγγλικά. Συγγνώμη, μιλάτε αγγλικά. The responses you will receive could be one of these three. Ναι, yes. Ναι. Λίγο, a little. Λίγο. Όχι, δεν μιλάω αγγλικά. No, I don't speak English. Όχι, δεν μιλάω αγγλικά. Since this last one is a negative statement, we need to say then or the before the verb μιλάω. Here you can also notice what we mentioned before. The personal pronoun εγώ, that is, I, is not used since the ending of the verb shows that it is the first person. Now it's time for Chris's insights. For those of you who are not only English speakers, you can obviously use this question with any language you need. Greek people study other European languages, so maybe you will get lucky. Just substitute αγγλικά with Italica for Italian, Russica for Russian, Hispanica for Spanish, Germanica for German. In this lesson, we mentioned the expression συγγνώμη. But did you know that this could also be used as an apology? In the next lesson, we will learn this and other ways to apologize in Greek. It's never too late to show your good manners with Greek people. I'll see you in our next Ελληνικά σε 3 λεπτά lesson. Γεια! Γεια, λέγομαι Χρυσή. Hi everybody, I'm Chrissy. Welcome to GreekPod101.com's Ελληνικά σε 3 λεπτά. The fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn Greek. In the last lesson, we learned the most common forms of greetings in Greek. Do you remember them? In this lesson, we are going to learn a very useful phrase. Do you speak English? If you find yourself in a situation where you need assistance in English, this phrase can be a lifesaver. And because you are asking it in Greek, you can be sure that everyone will understand what you're saying, even if their answer is no. Here is the informal way to say it. Μιλάς αγγλικά. Μιλάς αγγλικά. Μιλάς is to speak, and αγγλικά is English. In Greek, verbs change depending on who the subject is. The word μιλάς is conjugated from the verb μιλάω, which means to speak. By the ending s, we understand this is the second person singular. This is the informal way to say you speak. You will notice that the personal pronoun itself, the word you, is missing. This happens very often in Greek. Because the verb ending changes depending on the subject, you don't need to actually say the subject in order to be understood. To learn how to properly conjugate omega verbs like μιλάω, please look at our Absolute Beginner series on GreekPod101.com. You can find very detailed grammar lessons and resources there. We are now going to make this sentence formal. This is done by using the formal version of you, which is εσείς. If we change the word for you, we will conjugate μιλάω differently. It becomes μιλάτε. Everything else stays the same. Μιλάτε αγγλικά. Μιλάτε αγγλικά. Adding συγγνώμη, excuse me, the sentence becomes even more polite. Συγγνώμη, μιλάτε αγγλικά. Συγγνώμη, μιλάτε αγγλικά. The responses you will receive could be one of these three. Ναι, yes. Ναι. Λίγο, a little. Λίγο. Όχι, δεν μιλάω αγγλικά. No, I don't speak English. Όχι, δεν μιλάω αγγλικά. Since this last one is a negative statement, we need to say then or the before the verb μιλάω. Here you can also notice what we mentioned before. The personal pronoun εγώ, that is, I, is not used since the ending of the verb shows that it is the first person. Now it's time for Chris's insights. For those of you who are not only English speakers, you can obviously use this question with any language you need. Greek people study other European languages, so maybe you will get lucky. Just substitute αγγλικά with Italica for Italian, Rossica for Russian, Hispanica for Spanish, Germanica for German. In this lesson, we mentioned the expression συγγνώμη. But did you know that this could also be used as an apology? In the next lesson, we will learn this and other ways to apologize in Greek. It's never too late to show your good manners with Greek people. I'll see you in our next Ελληνικά σε 3 λεπτά lesson. Γεια!
Γεια, λέγομαι Χρυσή. Hi everybody, I'm Chrissy. Welcome to GreekPod101.com's Ελληνικά σε 3 λεπτά. The fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn Greek. In the last lesson, we learned the phrase συγγνώμη, μιλάτε αγγλικά. Excuse me, do you speak English? We mentioned the word συγγνώμη, which means excuse me in Greek. In this lesson, we are going to learn how to use συγγνώμη and other words when apologizing in Greek. We should use συγγνώμη in formal situations such as when we are ordering something in bars or restaurants. For example, συγγνώμη, ένα καφέ παρακαλώ. Excuse me, a coffee please. We can also use it when asking a question. συγγνώμη, πού είναι η Ακρόπολη? Excuse me, where is the Acropolis? Sometimes we also hear people say παρακαλώ, which literally means please or I beg. but means the same thing as signomi when you want to draw somebody's attention. We always use this phrase in formal speech. Παρακαλώ. The informal way to say excuse me is με συγχωρείτε. Με συγχωρείτε. Just like signomi, we can use με συγχωρείτε when asking a question or when apologizing. All of these phrases can be used for either excuse me or I'm sorry. But if you really want to apologize for something, it might be better to use a different phrase. That phrase is λυπάμαι. It means I'm sorry or I'm sad and can be used in both formal and informal situations. Λυπάμαι. Like in other cases we have seen, the verb λυπάμαι, I'm sad, or I'm sorry, is used without the personal pronoun εγώ, I. By just saying the verb, the listener understands you are talking about yourself. Now it's time for Christy's insights. Please remember that in Greece, if you accidentally bump into someone, you don't say, I'm sorry, λυπάμαι. Instead, we say συγγνώμη, excuse me, or με συγχωρείτε, forgive me. Are you able to count in Greek? In the next lesson, we will learn the numbers in Greek from 1 to 10. I'll be waiting for you in our next ελληνικά σε 3 λεπτά. Θα τα ξαναπούμε στο επόμενο μάθημα.
Γεια, λέγομαι Χρυσή. Hi everybody, I'm Chrissy. Welcome to GreekPod101.com's ελληνικά σε 3 λεπτά. The fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn Greek. In our last lesson, we learned how to use συγγνώμη, με συγχωρείτε, and λυπάμαι when apologizing in Greek. In this lesson, we are going to learn something even more practical, how to count from 1 to 10 in Greek. And we'll learn them all in 3 minutes. 3 λεπτά. Are you ready? Let's start. 1. Ένα. 2. Δύο. 3. Τρία. 4. Τέσσερα. 5. Πέντε. 6. Έξι. 7. Επτά. 8. 8. 9. 9. 10. 10. Okay, now repeat after me. I'll say the numbers and give you time to repeat each one. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. Great job! What is before ένα? Do you know? Yes, it's 0. In Greek, it's μηδέν. Μηδέν. So now, you can count pretty much anything and do other useful stuff like giving your friends your cell phone number and writing down theirs. Let's see how to do that in Greek. We'll use the phrase ο αριθμός μου είναι, which means my number is. Ο αριθμός μου είναι. Ο αριθμός μου είναι 6, 9, 7, 8, 5, 4, 3, 2, 0. Can you read it by yourself? 6, 9, 7, 8, 5, 4, 3, 2, 0. Okay? Great! Now it's time for Chrissy's insights. Like most words in Greek, numbers are gender sensitive. The numbers we learn today are used when counting neuter objects. The masculine and feminine numbers are almost the same, but with slight differences for the numbers 1 through 4. We won't get into this for now, since with the neuter numbers, you can do most things. Even if you use the wrong gender, Greeks will understand you. Do you know the Greek word for 100? If you don't worry. In the next lesson, we are going to learn the numbers from 11 to 100 in Greek. Your task now is to practice the numbers we studied in this lesson from 1 to 10. I'll be waiting for you in our next ελληνικά σε 3 λεπτά lesson. Θα τα ξαναπούμε στο επόμενο μάθημα. Γεια, λέγομαι Χρυσή. Hi everybody, I'm Chrissy. Welcome to GreekPod101.com's ελληνικά σε 3 λεπτά. The fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn Greek. In the last lesson, we learned the numbers from 1 to 10. Have you forgotten? Here, I'll tell you again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now, let's continue from 11. 11. 11. 12. 12. 13. 13. 14. 14. 15. 15. 16. 16. 17. 17. 18. 18. 19. 19. And finally, we have 20. 20. Okay, now repeat after me. I'll say the numbers and give you time to repeat each one. 11. 12. 13. 14. 15. 16. 17. 18. 19. 20. These numbers may seem harder to remember, but you really just have to memorize 11, 12, and 20. All other numbers are a combination of 10, which means 10, and the numbers from 3 to 9. It's like saying 10, 3, 10, 4, etc. Let's not stop at 20. Counting to 100 is super easy. Now I'll give you the tens. 30, 30, 40, 40, 50, 50, 60, 60, 70, 70, 80, 80, 90, 90, 100, 100. You'll have to memorize these numbers, but the good news is creating compound numbers is very easy. They are formed by putting the tens in front of the single digits. This means, for example, that 34 is 34 and 87 is 87. Yes, that's right. Exactly like English. Let's try those combinations. 34, 34, 84 87 87. Got it? I told you it was really easy. Now it's time for Chrissy's Insights. The pronunciation we have used in this and the previous lesson is a standard pronunciation for numbers. Sometimes, though, especially in casual conversation, Greeks also use efta instead of epta, ochto instead of okto, and ennia instead of enea. So if you notice someone using these words, don't be surprised. They're exactly the same as the ones you have learned. Actually, yours are more correct. After only 2 lessons, you are now able to count to 100 in Greek. Isn't that great? So let's go to the next lesson and see how we can use these numbers in their natural environment. That is, shopping. I'll be waiting for you in our next Ελληνικά σε 3 λεπτά lesson. Θα τα ξαναπούμε στο επόμενο μάθημα. Γεια, λέγομαι Χρυσή. Hi everybody, I'm Chrissy. Welcome to GreekPod101.com's Ελληνικά σε 3 λεπτά. The fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn Greek. In the last 2 lessons, we learned how to count in Greek from 1 to 100. I hope you spend some time practicing the numbers because they will come in handy in this lesson. Why? Because we will learn how to go shopping in Greece. Before we go, you need to know how to say how much is it. Πόσο κάνει? Πόσο κάνει? Are you ready to go shopping in Greece? Let's go! You see something you like and want to ask the shopkeeper how much it costs. The first thing to say is παρακαλώ. Do you remember what that means? It means please, usually, but in this situation it means excuse me. Παρακαλώ, πόσο κάνει αυτό? Παρακαλώ, πόσο κάνει αυτό? The word αυτό we use in this phrase means it or this. We don't actually say the name of the object. If we want to be more specific, we must know if the object is feminine, masculine, or neuter, convert the word αυτό accordingly, and add the object itself. Let's say we are asking about a hat or a καπέλο. In Greek, a hat is neuter, so we will use the phrase αυτό το καπέλο. Let's try it. Παρακαλώ, πόσο κάνει αυτό το καπέλο? Excuse me, how much is this hat? Παρακαλώ, πόσο κάνει αυτό το καπέλο? And skirt is a feminine noun. Φούστα. Let's try that too. Παρακαλώ, πόσο κάνει αυτή η φούστα? Excuse me, how much is this skirt? Παρακαλώ, πόσο κάνει αυτή η φούστα? Finally, let's also try a masculine noun, like a lighter, αναπτήρας. Παρακαλώ, πόσο κάνει αυτός ο αναπτήρας? Excuse me, how much is this lighter? Παρακαλώ, πόσο κάνει αυτός ο αναπτήρας? At this point, the shopkeeper will answer by saying the price like 15 ευρώ or 20 ευρώ. The word ευρώ means, of course, euro, and as for the number, you already know that, don't you? In case you have forgotten, 15 means 15, and 20 means 20. Now it's time for Chrissy's Insights. Even though it is not very polite, the fastest way to ask how much something costs is by saying the word αυτό, meaning it. and adding the word πόσο, meaning how much, like this, αυτό πόσο. In this case, even though you're using the neuter it, αυτό, you can also use it with masculine and feminine nouns. If you don't know the object's gender or you are in a hurry, you can do this. Greeks do it all the time. At this point, can you count euros in Greek? We are going to learn how to do this in the next lesson. After that, you'll have no excuse for not going out on a shopping spree in Greece. I'll be waiting for you in our next ελληνικά σε 3 λεπτά lesson. Θα τα ξαναπούμε στο επόμενο μάθημα.
Hi, welcome to Introduction to Greek. My name is Alicia, and I'm joined by...
Hi everyone, I'm Chrissy. In this series, you'll learn everything you need to know to start learning Greek.
That's right, and we're here to help guide you through your journey. In this lesson, you'll learn the reasons why you should start learning a new language, why you should learn Greek in particular, and how to get started.
So let's start with a question. Why learning new language?
There are many reasons, but perhaps the biggest one of all is that it could actually change your life. Learning a new language unlocks new pathways that are off limits to you now. There are certain things that you simply cannot do without having the technical or cultural skills that come from learning a new language.
Like working or living in another country.
Knowing another language provides you with greater job opportunities. It gives you the freedom to move to another country and earn a living, or even better yet, build a career from it, instead of just being stuck in one place. A second language allows you to visit or live in places that you may never even have considered going. Knowing another language simply gives you more options to choose from.
And learning a new language also helps you to be more open-minded and see the world from a new perspective.
If you talk to a man in a language he understands, that goes to his head. If you talk to him in his own language, that goes to his heart.
These words of wisdom come from Nelson Mandela.
And he was right. Language and culture go hand in hand. The world is a big place. By broadening your understanding of other cultures, you become more empathetic and understanding of the many different ways that people live their lives. By speaking an extra language, you're able to see and experience more, which helps you grow as a person.
Learning a new language also improves your memory.
Several studies have consistently shown that those who study another language have improved memory as opposed to those who didn't learn another language. Learning another language also keeps your brain healthy by significantly delaying the onset of Alzheimer's and dementia. This difference can be as much as 4 to 5 more years of quality life.
And those are just some of the reasons why you should learn another language. The list just goes on and on.
Now you know the benefits of studying another language, but why should you learn Greek in particular?
Did you know that by speaking English, you already speak more Greek than you think?
Words such as dynamite, android, encyclopedia, octopus, and air come from Greek. Actually, around 25 to 30% of all English words come from Greek, either directly or indirectly. So you should be able to understand quite a large number of Greek words already. And English is not the only language that has been influenced by Greek. Other European languages have been influenced too. So if you're learning Greek, you'll improve your English vocabulary and have a better understanding of the English language and other European languages.
Have you ever thought of traveling or moving to Greece?
As a visitor or expat, you'll discover that the country is very tourist-friendly. Most Greeks speak some English. However, if you speak Greek, you could communicate with the locals and experience the culture more profoundly. For example, you'll be able to understand the unique temperament and sense of humor the Greeks have. After all, they invented comedy.
Speaking of comedy, how about watching an ancient Greek comedy or tragedy in one of the ancient theaters in Greece? That is a unique experience.
Ancient drama is always alive in Greece, especially in the summers. It's almost a tradition for Greek directors to present their versions of ancient drama works in modern Greek. The works can be either adapted and have a modern approach, or they can follow the typical classical path. Tickets are usually sold out, so it's a must-live experience that is only more enjoyable if you understand Greek.
My two favorite ancient Greek theaters are, first, the one in Epidaurus for its amazing acoustics, and second, the Odeon of Herodes Atticus in Athens for its beautiful view of the Parthenon that stands right above it.
Greece has a very rich tradition in theater. But apart from that, perhaps you want to learn Greek so you can understand Greek music, movies, TV series, and literature.
Two of our greatest writers have been awarded with the Nobel Prize for Literature, Yorgos Seferis and Odysseas Elitis.
Their works, as well as the works of many other great Greek writers, have been translated to English. But the only way to really appreciate the beauty of their original words is to learn Greek.
Some Greek poems are so beautiful that they have been set to music by well-known composers like Mikis Theodorakis. His songs form an inextricable part of modern Greek culture. If you have a genuine interest in the Greek culture and civilization, these are just some of the reasons why you should learn Greek.
Okay then, we've talked about why you should start learning a language and why you should start learning Greek, but how should they get started, Chrissy?
Well, it's as simple as learning your first word in Greek and building up from there.
But like we said at the beginning, you already know some Greek.
Βιολογία, αστροναύτης, μικροσκόπιο.
These are words that have made their way into English, but the reverse is also true. Many English words have also made their way into Greek.
Video clip, chips, basketball.
So on top of some Greek that you already know, there are even more words in the Greek language that will sound familiar to you.
Now let's teach you something that you might not know, but which is very useful. Ευχαριστώ. It means thank you in Greek.
That's a useful phrase. Can you tell us a little more about these letters?
The Roman alphabet, which English uses, comes from the Greek alphabet. So some letters look identical, especially in uppercase. Ευχαριστώ. Each letter represents a unique sound, but sometimes some letter combinations create different sounds.
You'll learn the Greek writing system eventually, but for now, let's put up some romanization to help you get started.
Ευχαριστώ.
That certainly makes things much easier to learn. Okay, now listen and repeat after Chrissy.
Ευχαριστώ.
Now you try.
Ευχαριστώ.
Your turn again.
Ευχαριστώ.
Well done. Now you know how to say thank you in Greek. We've covered a lot of things already, so why don't we wrap up the first lesson by recapping what we've learned. In this lesson, you learned that studying another language has many benefits, such as making you more cultured and improving your memory. Greece has a colorful history, with many things for you to see and learn. And to say thank you in Greek, it's
Ευχαριστώ.
See you in the next lesson. Bye!
Bye.
Hi! Welcome to Introduction to Greek. My name is Alicia, and I'm joined by...
Hi everyone, I'm Chrissy.
In this lesson, you'll learn the basics of Greek pronunciation. Pronunciation refers to the manner in which a word is spoken, so don't focus on reading what's on screen. Instead, focus on listening and repeating. One of the aspects of a language is rhythm. Modern Greek is a mixed rhythm language with characteristics varying between those of syllable-timed and stress-timed languages. In syllable-timed languages, all syllables have equal duration, while in stress-timed languages like English, some syllables are longer and some are shorter. Spanish. Spanish.
Now let's hear a Greek word. Όμορφος. Όμορφος.
Another aspect of a language is intonation. Did you notice the accent mark above the first letter? There is only one type of accent mark in modern Greek, the acute accent. It adds stress to a syllable. A stressed syllable usually lasts longer and has a slightly higher pitch than the rest. Other than pitch accents, there is no pitch system in Greek, like in Chinese, for example, where different tones define the meaning of words. Let's listen to that again.
Όμορφος. Όμορφος.
There's a golden rule in Greek concerning accents. The accent mark can only go on one of the three last syllables of a word. Let's see this in a longer word.
Ομορφόπεδο. Ομορφόπεδο.
This word, as well as the previous one, share the same root. However, the accent mark had to be moved over to a different syllable in order to comply with our accentuation golden rule. By the way, did you notice that although this word is longer than the previous one, it feels as if the syllables are pronounced faster?
Όμορφος. Ομορφόπεδο.
In general, you need to keep in mind that the duration of any syllable depends on whether the syllable is stressed and on the length of the word. Additionally, an unstressed syllable may have a different duration depending on its position relative to the stressed syllable. For example, in the second word, pre-stressed syllables take slightly longer to be pronounced than the post-stressed ones.
Imagine this rhythm is a roller coaster ride. The pre-stressed syllables are like going up to the highest point slowly. The stressed syllable is like waiting at the top for a while. And then the post-stressed syllables are like the very fast fall. Of course, while Greeks speak, these duration differences between syllables are very small and hard to notice. Ομορφόπεδο. Ομορφόπεδο.
Greek is considered a fast-spoken language. Laboratory experiments have shown that a Greek speaker pronounces more syllables per second than an English speaker. There are 5 vowel sounds in Greek that are represented by 7 letters and 4 double vowel combinations.
A, E, I, O, U.
It's really that simple. The vowel sounds in Greek are exactly the same as the vowel sounds in English.
A, E, I, O, U.
Okay, let's move on. There are 34 consonant sounds in Greek that are represented by 17 letters and 6 double consonant combinations. Let's hear them.
V, G, Y, V, Z, F, K, K, L, L, M, N, N, X, P, R, R, S, T, F, H, Ps, G, G, Ng, B, B, P, D, D, T, T, Z.
In the previous lesson, you learned that around 25 to 30% of English words come from Greek, either directly or indirectly, which is quite a lot. But did you also know that apart from the Greek vowels, which are very easy to pronounce, out of the 34 consonant sounds in Greek, you already know 26 of them? That means that if you were to simply imitate a Greek speaker, your pronunciation would be correct most of the time. For example, listen and repeat after Chrissy.
Παρακαλώ. Παρακαλώ.
Chances are your pronunciation was pretty spot on. The P, R, K, and L sounds are practically identical to English. Don't forget that words get accentuated in Greek, so make sure to stress that final syllable with the accent mark. Repeat after Chrissy.
Παρακαλώ. Παρακαλώ.
Since most sounds in Greek are identical to English, you only need to pay attention to the few sounds that are completely new to you. There are only 8 unique Greek consonant sounds that you need to learn to perfect your Greek pronunciation. One of these sounds can be heard in the following word.
Συγγνώμη.
This word is often romanized like this.
Συγγνώμη.
This character isn't pronounced using an English G sound at all.
Γ.
It's like a very soft, continuous, and loosely held G, almost as if you're gargling, but don't make it sound too throaty.
Γ.
There's no such sound in English, but most people would transcribe this using the letter G because that's the closest equivalent in English. Pronouncing it like an English G, however, would be a huge mistake. To get that sound right, your tongue and the back part of your mouth should be barely separated from each other while you blow a steady stream of air between the small separation. Another approach is to try to pronounce a G as if an H sound were to follow after it and hold that sound while you exhale. The after sound created by that H is what you're looking for. Listen as Chrissy demonstrates. Repeat after her.
Συγγνώμη. Συγγνώμη.
Well done! Let's wrap up this lesson by recapping what we've learned. In this lesson, you learned that the rhythm of the Greek language is mixed and follows a fast tempo. The accentuation can only go on one of the three last syllables. A stressed syllable sounds longer, but the longer the word, the shorter the syllables are pronounced. Pre-stressed syllables are generally longer than post-stressed syllables. Collectively, nearly all the sounds in Greek are identical to the sounds in English. And finally, there are only 8 new sounds that you need to learn. We've covered only the basics of Greek pronunciation. If you're interested in learning more, check out the entire course we created named The Ultimate Guide to Greek Pronunciation. In that course, we cover and break down every single sound in the Greek language, showing you mouth and tongue positioning and giving you tips to help you perfect your Greek pronunciation. In the next lesson, we'll introduce you to the basics of Greek grammar, where you'll learn about Greek word order and how to build basic phrases in Greek. See you in the next lesson. Bye!
Γεια χαρά!
Hi! Welcome to Introduction to Greek. My name is Alicia, and I'm joined by...
Hi everyone, I'm Chrissy.
In this lesson, you'll learn the basics of Greek grammar. We won't be going into too much depth because it's impossible to condense everything into one short video lesson, but this video will give you a good idea of the main points of Greek grammar. The Greek language has one of the most extensive vocabularies in the world. All Greek words can be categorized into 10 different parts of speech. Furthermore, the Greek parts of speech are separated into inflected and non-inflected.
You might be wondering, what is inflection exactly?
Inflection is the modification of a word to express things such as tense, number, person, and more. The inflection of verbs is called conjugation. The inflection of articles, nouns, adjectives, and pronouns is called declension. When a word is not inflected, it means that its form never changes in speech.
The Greek inflected types of speech are the articles, nouns, adjectives, pronouns, verbs, and participles.
The Greek non-inflected types of speech are the adverbs, prepositions, conjunctions, and interjections.
Greek has also some small non-inflected words called particles. However, particles are not considered a part of speech.
In this video, we won't focus on non-inflected words because their use is very straightforward. Instead, we'll focus on declension and conjugation, which are more complex processes. In Greek, articles, nouns, adjectives, pronouns, and the passive voice participles are declinable. That means that they have different forms, just like the English noun cat changes to cats in the plural. The whole set of different forms that a declinable word may present in Greek is called declension.
Or klisi, literally meaning inclination.
And each different form a declinable word may have is called case.
Or ptosi, literally meaning fall.
There are 4 cases in Greek: the nominative, the genitive, the accusative, and the vocative case.
In Greek, the nominative case has always been considered a direct case or orthiptosi, together with the vocative. The genitive and the accusative, on the other hand, were always considered to be oblique cases, or plies ptosis.
But what do direct and oblique mean here? Well, let's remember the inclination and fall concept for a moment. If you set up a thin stick vertically on the ground, it won't stand, it'll fall. The nominative case, being the direct case or straight case, indicates the form of a word that is the base, the starting point. This is like the moment when the stick is standing straight before it starts falling. Declinable words are always in the nominative form in dictionaries. In ancient times, the vocative was identical to the nominative. So the vocative is still considered a direct case, although today there may be some differences between the two cases. Imagine now that the standing stick starts falling. During the fall, its position constantly changes in relationship to its starting point until it falls flat on the ground. Declinable words change too in relationship to their starting point, the nominative case. So the oblique cases, or bent cases, represent the form of a word that is not the base, like when the stick is already inclined and falling. These are the genitive and the accusative cases. The whole idea of declension, cases, and different forms of the same word may seem strange to an English speaker because English lost its case system almost completely. However, we can still see some declension happening to words, such as the personal pronouns. For example, I, he, she, we, and they can change to me, him, her, us, and them. In the phrase, she loves him, she denotes the subject, while him denotes the object. Similarly, the Greek case system exists in order to indicate certain grammatical relationships among the words of a sentence, like the subject, object, and more. It's actually because of the case system that word order in Greek sentences is relatively flexible. For example, in English, the sentences "the cat eats the mouse" and "the mouse eats the cat" mean different things. By swapping the nouns cat and mouse, the meaning changes completely. However, in Greek, the meaning wouldn't change because the form itself of a word shows us whether it's the subject or the object.
The word order depends on what the speaker wants to emphasize, as the first word gets more attention. So the second sentence is actually more like saying, "It is the mouse that the cat eats."
The grammatical case is the first characteristic of declension. The other two characteristics are gender and number. There are three genders in Greek: masculine, feminine, and neuter. All declinable words, including articles, are gendered. For example, in Greek, the definite article the comes in all three genders.
O, I, to.
And just like in English, there are singular and plural forms. So in the plural form, the Greek definite articles become
I, ta.
If we also add the forms for each case, then these are all the possible forms a definite article may have in speech. Note that definite articles don't have a vocative case form. Another thing to keep in mind about articles is that they need to have the same case, gender, and number as the words they define. For example, nouns and adjectives. The same goes for all declinable words that define each other. Now let's move on to the conjugation of verbs.
Again, the word conjugation in Greek is called klisi.
Greek verbs are divided into two main conjugation groups depending on their main ending. There's conjugation A and conjugation B. Furthermore, conjugation B has two subgroups, first and second class. The conjugation group is one of the characteristics of a verb. There are 6 more characteristics that you need to keep in mind: the person, number, mood, tense, voice, and the diathesis. Just like in English, there are 3 persons, first, second, and third, for I, you, and he, she, it. There are 2 numerical forms, singular and plural, and 2 voices, active and passive. As for the tenses, there are 8 tenses in Greek. The present tense, which makes no distinction between the simple or continuous present, the past continuous, the simple past, the future continuous, the simple future, the perfect, the past perfect, and the future perfect tense. Please keep in mind that in Greek, it's not always necessary to add the personal pronoun. That's because unlike English, verbs have a different form for each person, so the verb form itself shows us which person we're talking about. If pronouns are used, those are to make the context more clear or for emphasis.
Next, the mood of a verb has to do with the way the verb is presented. A verb might be presented as something real, that is a fact, as something we expect or wish to happen, or as a command, among others. There are 5 moods in Greek, but we won't go into detail at this moment.
Lastly, diathesis, literally meaning disposition, has to do with the meaning of a verb and the type of action it describes. For example, it might show us that the subject is doing an action, that the subject is acting upon itself, that someone else is acting upon the subject, or that the subject is simply in a particular state. With these basic grammar points in mind, you know what to expect once you start studying Greek grammar.
Now, let's wrap up this lesson by recapping what we've learned.
In this lesson, you learned the Greek parts of speech as well as which ones are inflected and which ones are not. We introduced you to the basic characteristics of declension and conjugation. You also learned that due to declension, word order is flexible in Greek. We've covered only the very basics of Greek grammar. If you're interested in more Greek, check out our Greek in 3 Minutes video series. In that course, we teach you useful phrases, and each lesson is only 3 minutes long. In the next lesson, we'll introduce you to the basics of Greek writing. See you in the next lesson. Bye!
Γεια χαρά!
Hi! Welcome to Introduction to Greek. My name is Alicia, and I'm joined by...
Hi everyone, I'm Chrissy.
In this lesson, you'll learn the basics of Greek writing. The Greek alphabet consists of 24 letters. There are 17 consonants and 7 vowels.
Alpha, Β, Γ, Δέλτα, Έψιλον, Ζ, Ήτα, Θήτα, Ιώτα, Κάπα, Λάμδα, Μη, Νη, Ξι, Όμικρον, Πι, Ρο, Σίγμα, Ταφ, Ήψιλον, Φι, Χ, Ψι, Ωμέγα. There is an uppercase and a lowercase version for each letter, just like in English. However, the letter sigma, which is equivalent to the English S, has an extra lowercase form, which is used only when sigma is the final letter of a word.
The Greek alphabet was the basis for the Roman alphabet, which English uses, so you'll see a lot of similarities between the uppercase Greek and English letters. All uppercase letters are written above the line, just like most lowercase letters. However, there are some lowercase letters that extend a little bit below the line.
These are Β, Γ, Ζ, Ήτα, Μη, Ξι, Ρο, Φι, Χ, and Ψι. Depending on the handwriting of a person, Β and Ήτα may also be written completely above the line by shortening their extended lines.
Although Greek can also be handwritten in cursive style, this is not how Greeks usually write, as learning cursive writing is not compulsory at school. When writing in Greek, the order of letters is from left to right, with spaces between the words, just like in English.
For example, το μολύβι μου. The only difference is that Greek uses accent marks over the stressed syllables.
The main punctuation marks include the period, the comma, the exclamation mark, the question mark, which actually looks like an English semicolon, and the quotation marks. The Greek semicolon, which is literally called upper dot in Greek, is a dot that is placed at mid-letter height.
After an upper dot, the next word doesn't need to be capitalized. But after a period, an exclamation mark, and a question mark, you should capitalize the first letter of a new sentence, just like you would do in English.
Over the last few years, the internet and smartphones have become an important part of our lives. As the need for communication through text messages has increased, this inevitably has affected the way Greeks type in their own language.
If you have any Greek friends in your social media, perhaps you've noticed that occasionally some of them might type Greek words using the English alphabet instead of the Greek. This hybrid is called Greeklish, and it's a bad habit that you should not make your own.
The excuse for this is that typing with English letters is much faster than typing in Greek, because one doesn't have to add the accent marks. It also camouflages spelling mistakes.
Despite saving time, however, Greeklish makes reading a sentence much harder for Greeks, especially on longer texts. Sometimes reading too much Greeklish makes even native speakers forget how words are properly spelled. Overall, it gives a bad impression. The reason we are mentioning Greeklish is just in case you saw it somewhere and were wondering about it.
So if you're serious about learning how to read and write Greek, you should stick to the Greek alphabet and to proper writing.
But even when using the Greek alphabet, you might see other bad writing habits on social media. For example, some people write in uppercase letters only, or write normally but without any accent marks. Some people also seem to be using the English question mark instead of the Greek one, or the English quotation marks instead of the Greek ones. Please do not do any of those things when writing in Greek.
Okay, Let's wrap up this lesson by recapping what we've learned. In this lesson, you learned the Greek alphabet and how the letters are written in relation to each other and to the line. You learned some basic punctuation marks, as well as what bad writing habits you should absolutely avoid.
We've covered the very basics of Greek writing. Check out our Greek Alphabet Made Easy series to learn more about the Greek alphabet, the letter combinations, the Greek punctuation, and how to handwrite each letter.
In the next lesson, you'll be entering Greek Boot Camp, where you'll learn useful beginner phrases to get you speaking Greek right away. See you in the next lesson. Bye!
Γεια χαρά!
Hi! Welcome to Introduction to Greek. My name is Alicia, and I'm joined by...
Hi everyone, I'm Chrissy.
In this lesson, we'll focus on teaching you the most useful Greek words and phrases for absolute beginners.
Make sure you're repeating the words out loud after I say the examples.
Are you ready? Let's get started. The best phrase to learn when studying a new language is one that expresses gratitude and appreciation. If you had to learn only a single phrase, this would be it.
We taught you this word in the first lesson of this series. Do you remember what it was? Ευχαριστώ. It means thank you. Ευχαριστώ.
Keep repeating after Chrissy until you get it.
Ευχαριστώ.
Your turn.
Ευχαριστώ. Ευχαριστώ.
Do you remember this mark here? We talked about it in lesson 2. It's the accent mark, and it indicates that this syllable is stressed. A stressed syllable is pronounced slightly longer and at a higher pitch than the rest of the syllables in a word. Listen again to how Chrissy is pronouncing this word and repeat.
Ευχαριστώ.
Okay, the next phrase we'll teach you is perhaps the second most useful of all phrases. It's to apologize or to excuse yourself.
We taught you this phrase in lesson 2. Do you remember what it was? Συγγνώμη. And it means excuse me or I'm sorry. Συγγνώμη.
Use this phrase when you want to grab a waiter's attention or when you're hustling through the busy streets of Athens.
Συγγνώμη.
Your turn.
Συγγνώμη.
Imagine you're on the street and you want to stop someone to ask them for directions. What do you say?
Συγγνώμη.
Okay, one last time.
Συγγνώμη.
Now you can say thank you, excuse me, and I'm sorry in Greek. Let's move on. Asking where something is an incredibly important and useful phrase to learn. You're going to need this when asking where the toilet, the metro station, or where the hotel is. To ask where something is, you need to add an article in one of the 3 genders, plus the name of the place or location after this phrase here.
Πού είναι?
For example, you want to ask, where is the toilet? You need to use the feminine article because the word toilet, which the article defines, is feminine in Greek.
Πού είναι η τουαλέτα?
When you first start learning Greek, don't worry too much about mixing up the gender of articles. This is something you learn with time and a lot of study. Plus, Greeks will understand your question well enough no matter what. Next, for the metro station, it'll be...
Πού είναι ο σταθμός του μετρό?
And so on. You can ask where something is by simply starting with...
Πού είναι? Πού means where. Είναι translates to is. Remember that what looks like an English semicolon is actually a question mark in Greek.
Altogether, it's...
Πού είναι?
Your turn.
Πού είναι? Πού είναι?
Okay, now let's teach you some vocabulary so that you can use it in the sentence. Here are some of the most common words you'll need to learn alongside their articles.
Η τουαλέτα.
The toilet.
Η τουαλέτα. Πού είναι η τουαλέτα?
Next,
Ο σταθμός του μετρό.
the metro station.
Ο σταθμός του μετρό. Πού είναι ο σταθμός του μετρό?
If you ask someone this question, they'll direct you to the closest metro station. If you'd like to ask where a specific metro station is, Like the Acropolis metro station, for example, simply place the station name after metro station.
Ο σταθμός του μετρό. Ο σταθμός του μετρό Ακρόπολη. Πού είναι ο σταθμός του μετρό Ακρόπολη?
Next,
Το ξενοδοχείο.
the hotel.
Το ξενοδοχείο. Πού είναι το ξενοδοχείο?
For a specific hotel, do the same thing as a metro station. Just place the name after hotel.
Το ξενοδοχείο. Το ξενοδοχείο Hilton. Πού είναι το ξενοδοχείο Hilton?
Next,
Το σούπερ μάρκετ.
the supermarket.
Το σούπερ μάρκετ. Πού είναι το σούπερ μάρκετ?
You can substitute almost anything and simply put
Πού είναι?
at the beginning of your sentence to ask where something is in Greek. In this final lesson, you learned how to say thank you, excuse me, I'm sorry, and how to ask where something is in Greek. And in this series, we introduced you to the basics of Greek pronunciation, grammar, writing, and more. Let's conclude with some parting advice from Chrissy and listen to some of her tips on how to learn Greek from a native Greek perspective.
First of all, if you want to improve your pronunciation and communication skills, try not to fit all Greek sounds onto those of the English alphabet. One effective way to initially master Greek pronunciation is to watch and study contemporary Greek videos. That's because we often use expressions and hand gestures in daily conversations that aren't necessarily introduced in grammar textbooks. Secondly, don't rely on romanization too much. The biggest mistake that I often see is learners using English letters instead of the Greek alphabet. Although romanization is helpful, it might not represent the exact sounds of Greek, since for some consonant sounds we only have a rough equivalent in English. One such example is the word gata, meaning cat. This is usually romanized with an initial G letter, but it is not pronounced gata. The first consonant is softer, gata. Watching contemporary videos such as our videos here at GreekPod101.com will ensure that you are learning real, applicable Greek in the fastest and most effective way.
You've reached the end of this course, Introduction to Greek, but it's only the beginning of your journey to Greek fluency. Where do you go from here? Try our Greek in 3-minute series, where we teach you beginner vocab and even more useful phrases. Or check out any of our other video series. We have many different categories for you to choose from. Good luck as you continue learning Greek, and I'll see you in another video. Bye!
Γεια χαρά!
How are your Greek listening skills? First, you'll see an image and hear a question. Next comes a short dialogue. Listen carefully and see if you can answer correctly. We'll show you the answer at the end. Are you ready?
Ένα αγόρι διαβάζει το ημερολόγιό του. Ποιο ήταν το πρώτο πράγμα που το αγόρι έκανε σήμερα?
Ο καιρός ήταν καταπληκτικός σήμερα. Το απόγευμα πήγα για κολύμπι στην πισίνα. Πήγα και σινεμά το βραδάκι. Επίσης μελετούσα όλο το πρωί. Σήμερα δεν ήταν και άσχημα.
Ποιο ήταν το πρώτο πράγμα που το αγόρι έκανε σήμερα? Ένα αγόρι διαβάζει το ημερολόγιό του. Ποιο ήταν το πρώτο πράγμα που το αγόρι έκανε σήμερα?
Ο καιρός ήταν καταπληκτικός σήμερα. Το απόγευμα πήγα για κολύμπι στην πισίνα. Πήγα και σινεμά το βραδάκι. Επίσης μελετούσα όλο το πρωί. Σήμερα δεν ήταν και άσχημα.
Did you get it right? I hope you learned something from this quiz. Let us know if you have any questions. See you next time. Hi everyone, I'm Gabriella. How are your Greek listening skills? In this video, you'll have a chance to test them out with a quiz. First, you'll see an image and hear a question. Next comes a short dialogue. Listen carefully and see if you can answer correctly. We'll show you the answer at the end. Are you ready?
Ένας άντρας δίνει αναφορά σχετικά με τις επιδόσεις των πωλήσεων της εταιρείας του σε μια σύσκεψη. Ποιο από τα δύο διαγράμματα χρησιμοποιεί για την παρουσίασή του?
Παρακαλώ κοιτάξτε τη φωτοτυπία. Το αριστερό διάγραμμα δείχνει τις πωλήσεις της εταιρείας μας τα τελευταία 3 χρόνια και τις προβλέψεις πωλήσεων για το τρέχον έτος. Το δεξί διάγραμμα δείχνει τις πωλήσεις ανά μήνα μέχρι και το μήνα Οκτώβριο φέτος. Τώρα κοιτάξτε παρακαλώ το αριστερό διάγραμμα. Δείχνει ότι οι πωλήσεις έχουν σημειώσει σταθερή άνοδο τα τελευταία 3 χρόνια. Αν μπορέσουμε να συνεχίσουμε την αύξηση των πωλήσεων, τότε οι συνολικές πωλήσεις για αυτόν τον χρόνο θα σημειώσουν αύξηση σε σχέση με πέρσι. Εν συνεχεία, παρακαλώ κοιτάξτε το δεξί διάγραμμα. Το δεξί διάγραμμα δείχνει ότι οι εκστρατείες που κάναμε τον Απρίλιο και τον Αύγουστο ήταν αρκετά αποτελεσματικές.
Το βλέπω, όμως οι πωλήσεις έπεσαν τον Μάιο και τον Σεπτέμβριο μετά τις εκστρατείες.
Ναι, αλλά αυτού του είδους η αναπήδηση είναι αναπόφευκτη. Νομίζω ότι οι ετήσιες πωλήσεις για φέτος θα σημειώσουν αύξηση σε σχέση με τις περσινές, αν εξακολουθήσουμε να αυξάνουμε τις πωλήσεις μας.
Ποιο από τα δύο διαγράμματα χρησιμοποιεί για την παρουσίασή του? Ένας άντρας δίνει αναφορά σχετικά με τις επιδόσεις των πωλήσεων της εταιρείας του σε μια σύσκεψη. Ποιο από τα δύο διαγράμματα χρησιμοποιεί για την παρουσίασή του?
Παρακαλώ κοιτάξτε τη φωτοτυπία. Το αριστερό διάγραμμα δείχνει τις πωλήσεις της εταιρείας μας τα τελευταία 3 χρόνια και τις προβλέψεις πωλήσεων για το τρέχον έτος. Το δεξί διάγραμμα δείχνει τις πωλήσεις ανά μήνα μέχρι και το μήνα Οκτώβριο φέτος. Τώρα κοιτάξτε παρακαλώ το αριστερό διάγραμμα. Δείχνει ότι οι πωλήσεις έχουν σημειώσει σταθερή άνοδο τα τελευταία 3 χρόνια. Αν μπορέσουμε να συνεχίσουμε την αύξηση των πωλήσεων, τότε οι συνολικές πωλήσεις για αυτόν τον χρόνο θα σημειώσουν αύξηση σε σχέση με πέρσι. Εν συνεχεία, παρακαλώ κοιτάξτε το δεξί διάγραμμα. Το δεξί διάγραμμα δείχνει ότι οι εκστρατείες που κάναμε τον Απρίλιο και τον Αύγουστο ήταν αρκετά αποτελεσματικές.
Το βλέπω, όμως οι πωλήσεις έπεσαν τον Μάιο και τον Σεπτέμβριο μετά τις εκστρατείες.
Ναι, αλλά αυτού του είδους η αναπήδηση είναι αναπόφευκτη. Νομίζω ότι οι ετήσιες πωλήσεις για φέτος θα σημειώσουν αύξηση σε σχέση με τις περσινές, αν εξακολουθήσουμε να αυξάνουμε τις πωλήσεις μας.
Did you get it right? I hope you learned something from this quiz. Let us know if you have any questions. See you next time. Hi everyone, welcome to your monthly review, the monthly show on language learning, where you discover new learning strategies, motivational tips, new study tools, resources, and where we show off learners like you speaking the language. That is, if you're brave enough to become language learning famous. All the materials mentioned in this video are available for you now on our website. Click the link in the description to sign up for your free lifetime account and start speaking in minutes. Okay, today's topic is the 10 habits of highly effective language learners. So, what do successful language learners, people who set language goals and actually hit them, do differently? And are you doing any of these things already? Let's get into it. You'll discover 10 powerful habits and how to apply them. I'll give you specific step-by-step examples. You can use these whether you're learning with our program or any other resource, a textbook, an app, or some audio program. Let's start with the first and most important one. Habit number 1. Set small, measurable goals with deadlines. Why small goals? Well, say for example, you set big, vague goals, like I want to be fluent someday, and maybe you buy a textbook, you read the first chapter, then you start wondering if you're getting any better. You start worrying you'll never be fluent, and you give up. If you do this, you need to start setting small, measurable goals. For example, learn 100 words in a month, or speak 1 minute of conversation. Or do 30 of our audio lessons in 1 month. Deadline, November 30th. Okay, habit number 2, create a routine, because your routine is what will bring your goals to reality. This goes back to the first habit. Again, if you set a goal like doing 30 lessons in 1 month, you need to do 1 lesson a day and spend 15 minutes studying. Now you have a routine to stick to. 1 lesson a day, 15 minutes. Next, decide when and where you'll do it. Why? So you can make time. Make a mental note that this time is language time. And, this is important, say no to other things. Your language goals and dreams take first priority. Next, habit number 3, don't cram. Instead of cramming or forcing yourself to learn for 1 or 5 hours, start small. Cramming may have worked for you with studying for tests, but language learning is a marathon, not a sprint. So if you do 5 hours now, you'll burn yourself out. You'll hate the learning, and that's not good. That's how you fail at your goals and dreams. But if you can do 5 to 15 minutes a day, every day, learning won't be overwhelming, and you'll be successful in the long run. So, how do you create this habit? If you've set your small, measurable goal and routine, you're good to go. Habit number 4, prepare lines and conversations ahead of time. If you're like most language learners, speaking is your weak point. And a lot of the time, it's because you just don't know what to say. You don't have the words in your head. This is where preparation comes in. So imagine you meet a person for the first time. What do you say to each other? Hello, how are you? What's your name? Where are you from? What are your hobbies? If you prepare these questions and answers ahead of time, you then have things to ask and say. So how do you do this? If you're learning on the website, check out our top 25 questions lessons that teach you questions and answers that we use all the time in conversations. For example, what's your name? Where are you from? How old are you? How was your weekend? Another way to prepare is to make a list of questions or phrases you want to say. Then get the translations for those. The point is, if you prepare lines like, my name is, I am from, this weekend I did this, the kind of lines you use all the time, you'll always have something to say. Habit number 5, get into the habit of producing output. So input is taking language in, listening and reading, and output is putting language out, so speaking and writing. The point here is, it's easy to just sit and listen and watch YouTube videos. You can listen to lessons all day long, but listening helps with listening. It won't get you speaking the language. So the easiest ways to produce output are, for speaking, repeat what you hear out loud. That's called shadowing. And for writing, write things out by hand. You can copy out our lesson dialogues or just copy the sentences out of a textbook. Habit number 6, come back and review. And that's because reading something once doesn't mean it'll be in your brain forever. So this is where reviewing comes in. In order to master grammar, words, or phrases, you must go back and review. How do you do this? Spaced repetition flashcards are a great example of this. A lot of language learners use these because with spaced repetition, you get to see words again and again over spaced periods of time, and that improves your memory. Another simple thing you can do is download and save our lessons. Replay them later. Download our dialogue tracks. These give you just the conversation from that lesson, no translations. Make a playlist on your phone and listen as much as possible, just like with songs. Soon, you'll know tons of practical conversations by heart. Next, habit number 7, look for solutions. There's one interesting thing that separates new learners from successful learners. It's how they react when they don't understand something. Because beginners completely rely on the study tools they use, they tend to blame them too. You'll often hear that someone gave up because the textbook was too boring, or it won't help them speak. But if you realize a book won't help you speak, it's not the book's fault, is it? And if you complain that a class doesn't help you speak, but you're not raising your hand at every opportunity either, whose fault is it? So experienced learners look for solutions. Get into the habit of coming up with a solution for your problem. Habit number 8, focus on what you're good at. And you should do this because it's overall motivation. If you're generally better at speaking than writing, then you're more likely to enjoy it, which means you're more likely to continue with it. And that means it's a successful routine. Habit number 9 is don't procrastinate, which is easier said than done. Most of us procrastinate. And a lot of that is a result of overthinking. Let's say you plan on studying today. So you remember, I have to study. Now you're ruining it in your head. it becomes something you have to do. It's a hassle now. But if you set a small, measurable goal and have a simple routine, spend 5 minutes, then you know you just need to put in 5 minutes, and you're done. So if you want to beat procrastination, make your goals and routines easy. And number 10, remember that learning a language is a marathon, not a sprint. So there's no need to do 5-hour cram sessions and burn yourself out. 5 or 10 minutes is good enough. Remembering this is a good habit to have. If you're having a bad day, if you can't remember some grammar, it's not all over. It's just a minor bump in the road. Another thing that helps is considering the resources you use. Sticking with quick 5-minute lessons that are easy to finish will help keep you in the marathon. Now, speaking of lessons and resources, here are this month's new lessons and resources. First, the Ultimate Guide to Learning and Mastering Language ebook. This is a 52-page ebook that covers the learning tactics I just talked about: setting goals, staying motivated, learning faster. If you're interested in learning strategies, be sure to download it. Next, the Sport and Exercise Conversation Cheat Sheet. If you want to talk about sports and fitness in the language you're learning, then you'll love this PDF cheat sheet. And finally, How to Improve Your Speaking Skills. It's another language strategy lesson. To get these free lessons and resources, just click the link in the description below. All right, because this is the very first episode of the monthly review, we're asking you, yes you, to submit a video of yourself speaking the language. Here's the challenge for you. Yes, everyone watching this. Record a 30-second to 1-minute audio or video clip. Introduce yourself in the language. Share your name, where you're from, and why you're studying this language. And you'll win a 3-month Premium Plus subscription. To submit, click on the link in the description. Sign up for your free lifetime account. Then, fill out the form. Attach the audio or video file, and press submit. We may feature you in next month's episode, so a lot of learners will see you and your progress, and will hopefully get inspired to improve and master the language. To submit a recording, click the link in the description and follow the instructions on the page. So, thank you for watching this episode of Monthly Review. Next time, we'll talk about why your worst days are the best days to study. In the meantime, submit your recording if you're brave. Like and share this video and leave a comment to tell us what language learning tactics you'd like us to talk about. See you next time. Bye! Want to master grammar so you can speak properly, express yourself better, and understand more? In this video, I'll show you how to master grammar with our lessons and learning program. Let's begin. Number 1. Listen to the lesson conversations and explanations. In every lesson, you learn a conversation. Then, our teachers break down every word and grammar rule. So you're actually learning grammar rules in the context of conversations, and you can easily see how they're used. Once you're done, review the conversation again and again to remember what you've learned. Number 2. Read the bonus explanations and tutorials. With the lesson notes, you get extra grammar explanations and examples that are not presented in the lesson. After you're done with the lesson, read the lesson notes for extra review. You can even save them as PDFs so that you can access them anytime. Number 3. Leave a comment on the lesson. Once you've learned a grammar point, be sure to use it. Leave a comment in the comments section. Write some example sentences for practice. Our teachers will review your comment and give you feedback. Number 4. Unlock even more grammar lessons. If you want to find all of the grammar lessons available, visit our lesson library. Under Category, choose Grammar. You'll get all of the pathways and lessons dedicated to helping you learn and master sentence patterns and grammar points. So, if you're ready to finally learn a new language the fast, fun, and easy way, sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Signing up takes less than 30 seconds, and you'll start speaking from your very first lesson. If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share it with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye! Hi everyone, welcome to the Ultimate Greek Pronunciation Guide. In this series, you'll master Greek pronunciation. Proper pronunciation is essential in Greek, and in this series,
You'll learn it in a fast, comprehensive, and easy way. In this first lesson, you'll learn about the building blocks of the Greek pronunciation system that will help you in future lessons. Greek is one of the oldest languages in the world, and its writing system is amongst one of the oldest on record. The modern Greek alphabet consists of 24 letters, each with a capital and a lowercase form. The letter sigma has an additional lowercase form used in the final position. But be careful not to fall into a very common trap. As you're learning to speak correctly, you shouldn't concern yourself with all the letters. That's right, forget them. You care about the sounds of Greek, and here they are. There are 34 consonant sounds and 5 vowel sounds. You can form every single word in Greek by using these sounds. Still seem complicated? Well, how about this? Of the 34 consonant sounds in Greek, you already know 26 of them. That's right. If you're a native English speaker, then you already make these sounds every day. You can also ignore all of the vowel sounds for the same reason. The only things standing between you and perfect Greek pronunciation are 8 new consonant sounds. You can handle that. Now let me introduce Stefania, who will be helping you to master these new sounds.
Γεια χαρά! Είμαι η Στεφανία.
Stefania will be giving you native pronunciation examples to imitate. But for this first lesson, just sit back and listen to the foreign sounds of Greek.
Γ, αγέρας, γύσω, γερνώ. Γ, γάτα, γόβα, άγουρος. Λ, ελιά, λιοπύρι, γελιέμαι. Νι, νιώτη, νοιάζομαι, πενιές. Ρ, ρήμα, αρένα, έρανος. Ρ, τρίζω, κράζω, πρόβα. Ψ, ψάχνω, κάτοψη, άψυχος. Τζ, τζόγος, τζαμαρία, ατζαμής.
In the next lesson, we'll look at the top 5 pronunciation mistakes Greek learners make. You'll want to make sure not to fall into these common traps. After that, we'll begin going through the vowels and consonants of Greek. This is your chance to learn how to correctly say all of the words you just heard. We'll finish up the series by covering some special topics that will really make your Greek sound natural. To close this lesson, here's a question for you. Why is it important to spend time on learning proper pronunciation, even if you're already an advanced speaker? The answer, you will be understood, and this will help you build more confidence as you communicate in Greek. For beginners, you're creating a strong foundation to build on, and for more advanced students, this is your chance to improve your accent and lose any bad habits you may have picked up. See you in the next Ultimate Greek Pronunciation Guide lesson. Hi everyone, welcome to the Ultimate Greek Pronunciation Guide. In this lesson, you'll learn the top 5 Greek pronunciation mistakes to avoid. These are common mistakes that Greek learners make, so pay close attention and make sure that you don't make these same mistakes too. Are you ready? Then let's get started. Unlike English, Greek has only 5 vowel sounds.
Α, I, O, U.
The most common vowel sound in the English language is the schwa, which sounds like the A in the word about. This is the most neutral and the easiest vowel sound you can make because it requires the least amount of effort to produce. In rapid speech, many of the vowel sounds in English are often reduced to this easy-to-pronounce schwa sound. In Greek, however, there is no such schwa sound. All of the 5 vowel sounds are distinct. So if you don't pronounce them clearly, there's a high chance that you'll end up mispronouncing these vowels altogether. The only way to correct this problem is to practice pronouncing the 5 Greek vowel sounds cleanly and limiting yourself to using just these 5 vowel sounds and nothing in between. But don't worry, we'll cover all 5 Greek vowel sounds in the next lesson. Learners often mispronounce this letter as a G or an H, and oftentimes make it sound too throaty. This letter is tricky because the pronunciation changes depending on the surrounding vowels. When it precedes an I or an E vowel, it's pronounced very much like an English Y sound. For example,
Γη, γένος.
when it precedes an A O or U, however, it's pronounced like a loosely held G sound.
Γάτα, γόβα, γούνα.
Try to listen to as many native pronunciations of this letter as you can, and of course, make sure to practice pronouncing and memorizing all of the variations. We'll take an in-depth look at all of these sounds in Lesson 4. Although these are familiar sounds to English speakers, the th and the sounds often get mixed up. This is mainly a recognition issue, as both of these letters look similar in lowercase form and both are dental consonants. You need to learn to recognize and pronounce the right consonant at the right time through practice, otherwise you'll be easily misunderstood. Greek learners also commonly mispronounce the th sound as a D sound. This is likely due to the fact that many loanwords in English have their roots in Greek and were rendered as a D sound instead of as a th sound. Just remember that this letter is never pronounced as a D in Greek. It's always pronounced as a th sound. We'll take an in-depth look at these sounds in Lesson 4. This mistake is apparent. Both of these Greek letters look very similar to the English letters P and X. However, the way you read them in Greek is totally different. Listen to Stefania pronounce this letter by itself and then in a few words.
Ρ, άρια, τρίζω, πρόβα. Χ, χαρά, χορός, χούφτα.
Reading Greek texts out loud can help you pick up mistakes and make corrections when you misread these letters. We'll take an in-depth look at all of these sounds in Lesson 4. Accents can be daunting for many Greek learners because they seem very foreign. This is especially true if your language doesn't contain any of them. However, they're nothing to be afraid of, as Greek primarily uses just one accent. Furthermore, its usage is very simple. This accent just indicates that you need to stress the syllable. That's it.
Κάλος, καλός. Νόμος, νομός. Θέα, θεά.
Notice how the accented syllables are emphasized? It's pronounced a little bit louder and longer than the surrounding syllables. And that's all there is to it. Wasn't that easy? We'll take an in-depth look at accentuation in Greek in Lesson 6. Now you know the top 5 Greek pronunciation mistakes to avoid. Try to be careful so that you don't make these same mistakes. Still feel a bit worried? Over the rest of this series, we'll cover all of these topics in depth. In the next lesson, we'll start learning vowel sounds in Greek. Have you been guilty of any of these 5 mistakes? Have you learned any tricks to deal with them? Let us know in the comments and share them with other students like you. Stick with us and you'll overcome these quickly. See you in the next Ultimate Greek Pronunciation Guide lesson. Hi everyone, welcome to the Ultimate Greek Pronunciation Guide. In this lesson, you'll learn all 5 Greek vowel sounds.
Α, ι, ο, ου.
With these sounds, you can pronounce any vowel that could possibly appear in Greek. Are you ready? Then let's get started. The first vowel sound is
Α, άρτος, ένατος, θάλασσα, παράμερα.
It's similar to the A sound in the word mama or papa.
Α, α. Α, α.
The next vowel sound is
έξι, τσελεμεντές, βέβαια, έπαινος.
It's similar to the E sound in the word bed. We should note that certain double vowel combinations in Greek aren't pronounced the same way as they're spelled. These 2 vowels, for example, are actually pronounced as a single vowel sound. As you can see, these 2 vowels are also pronounced like the E sound in the word bed. Listen to how Stefania pronounces this vowel sound. The next vowel sound is
ίαση, οικείος, υιοθετώ, βαρύς.
It's the same as the double E sound in the word see. Like the previous sound, there are also many double vowels which can be used to represent this sound. Although spelled differently, all of them are pronounced the same way. Listen to how Stefania pronounces this vowel sound.
E. 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 E.
The next vowel sound is
Ο. Όγκος, τεντώνω, μόλοπας, μοσχοβολώ.
As you can see, there are two letters which can be used to represent this sound. The sound is similar to the O sound in the word pot, though try to open and round your mouth more than you would normally.
Ο. 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 Ο.
The last vowel sound for this lesson is
Ου. Ουρά. Ακούω. Καπελού. Κουρούνα.
This double vowel is pronounced like the double O sound in the word pool. Listen to how Stefania pronounces this vowel sound.
Ου. 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 Ου.
Well done! You've just learned all 5 vowel sounds in Greek.
Α. Ι. Ο. Ου.
In the next lesson, you'll start learning consonant sounds. Which vowel sound was the toughest for you to pronounce? Please comment and share your thoughts. See you in the next Ultimate Greek Pronunciation Guide lesson. Want to finally learn Greek the fast, fun, and easy way? In this video, I'll show you the top 10 ways to get started. So let's begin. Number 1, take your very first lesson. Access any audio or video lesson on GreekPod101.com and just press the play button to get started. Don't have an account? Don't worry. Just go to the sign up page to create an account. It takes less than 30 seconds and it's free. We have thousands of audio and video lessons covering a variety of topics like grammar, pronunciation, listening, and reading. Just click on the play button on any lesson and start learning. Number 2, read along with the lesson. You can read along with the lesson notes or lesson transcript. These come with every lesson. The lesson notes provide you with the dialogue for the scene taught in the lesson, along with translations, a more in-depth explanation of the grammar and culture, and even vocab and sample sentences. The lesson transcript is the full word-for-word transcript of everything you hear in the lesson. And the dialogue study tool provides you with the audio for the lesson dialogue, along with the translations. Number 3, shadowing. Shadowing is a tested learning technique where you repeat what you hear. This is a great way to start speaking in minutes and practice speaking in general. If you're listening along with the lesson audio or dialogue, be sure to shadow along the way. Number 4, use the dialogue study tool to master the conversation. Here, you get the line-by-line breakdown of the conversation demonstrated in the lesson. Listen and repeat until you've mastered each line. Do this until you've mastered the entire conversation. Number 5, use the voice recorder to perfect your pronunciation and speaking. In the dialogue study tool, you'll find a microphone icon next to each line. Click on it to record your voice. Then, compare it with the native speakers. Listen and adjust your pronunciation until you match that of the native speaker. Number 6, review vocab with the lesson vocabulary list. Vocabulary words are the building blocks of language. You can save vocab words taught in each lesson by clicking on Add to Word Bank. Want to drill the words with smart flashcards instead? Just click on Add to Flashcard Deck to do so. Number 7, listen to the review track. If you've studied an audio lesson before, just listen to the review track so that you don't have to listen through the entire lesson again. This is a great way to reinforce the material that you've learned, and it's great to have on the go. Just access any audio lesson and click on the download icon. Then click Review to download the review track. Number 8. Review with quizzes after the lesson. Once you're confident enough with the material taught in the lesson, be sure to take the quiz to test your newfound knowledge. Take the review questions and answer true or false for each one. Or take the writing questions and input your answer. Remember to check the answers by clicking on the Check Answers button. Number 9. Participate and leave a comment. The best way to master what you've learned is to use it. Join the community of learners by leaving a comment below at the end of every lesson. Our dedicated teachers will check your responses to correct you on any mistakes or provide you with helpful study tips and advice. And finally, number 10. Move on to the next lesson. Done with a lesson? Mark the lesson as complete. You can see your overall learning progress on your dashboard. If you particularly enjoyed the lesson, mark the lesson as favorite so that you can come back to it later at any time. Click on the forward arrow to move on to the next lesson and continue learning. If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share it with anyone who's trying to learn Greek, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. Remember, you can sign up to GreekPod101.com by clicking on the link in the description. Sign up takes less than 30 seconds, and it's free. I'll see you next time. Bye! Are you feeling confident as a beginner-level language learner? Are you ready to move up to the intermediate level? Here are some tips to help you make that leap and advance your language learning progress. Tip number 1. Determine your skill level. It's important to look across your skills in the major language competencies: listening, speaking, writing, and reading. By taking our level assessment test, you can review your skills in each competency and see your strengths and weaknesses. Keep in mind it's normal to be better in some skills than others. Premium Plus users can take our level assessment test and get personalized recommendations and learning pathways based on your results. Once you've figured out which skills need work, it's time to take action. No matter which of your language skills need to be improved, make sure you choose a method that's both effective and fun to help maintain your regular learning routine. Tip number 2. Listening. The most effective way to build your listening comprehension is by building a strong vocabulary. The more vocab you master, the easier it will be to understand the context and details of the conversation. Songs in the target language are a key listening tool that will teach you common, everyday vocabulary. By learning and memorizing the lyrics, you're building up your vocabulary. If you really want your listening skills to take off, listen to our podcasts. We have hundreds of hours of audio lessons for you to listen to. Before you know it, you'll be able to understand shows and movies. Tip number 3. Speaking. Add speaking elements to your language routine. Try shadowing podcasts, repeating along while you listen. Match the native speaker's pronunciation and intonation. This is a fantastic way to improve your fluency and accuracy. You can also find a partner for conversation exchange. A partner can help correct your mistakes and teach you more natural ways to phrase your ideas. Tip number 4. Writing. An easy way to start writing more often is by keeping a one-sentence journal. Write one sentence in a journal every day. It doesn't take a lot of time and is a great habit for beginners to build a routine. You have to be consistent to make improvements. Ask native speakers to correct your writing to improve even faster. You can submit sentences and phrases to your teacher using Premium Plus. Tip number 5. Reading. Reading is a skill you can improve by yourself. There's no need to rush. It doesn't matter if you read 1 or 100 pages at a time. What matters is that you understand what you read. Write down new words as you read them to practice later. If there's an audio version, read along with the narrator. It'll help you read at a slightly faster speed than normal. You can use the audio that comes with each of our lessons. Bonus tip: never give up. Where do your language skills currently stand? Where do you want them to be? How do you get there? Whatever your goal is, make it clear and part of your life.
You'll reach it if you stay focused and positive. And if you really want your skills to take off, make use of our tools and resources. They're designed to help you get to the next level in the fastest, easiest, and most fun way. Just click the link in the description to sign up for a free lifetime account. Sign up takes less than 30 seconds. Click the link in the description and start learning right away. I'll see you there. Bye! Can you really learn a new language all alone? Learning a language without traditional classroom instruction may seem quite daunting at first. What if you run into questions? How do you stay on track and motivated to achieve your goals? Don't worry. Not only is it possible to learn any language without traditional classroom instruction, we have created an advanced and extensive online language learning system to help you do just that. It's designed to help you learn a language on your own and is faster, more convenient, and less expensive than traditional classroom options. Here are 3 reasons to learn a language alone. Number 1. Learn at your own pace and on your own schedule. In today's fast-paced world, there isn't always time for traditional classroom instruction. But when you learn alone, you can study anywhere and anytime that suits your schedule best. It makes it far easier to actually reach your goal of learning and mastering the language. Number 2. Learning a language on your own can reduce stress and anxiety. In traditional classroom settings, there are pop quizzes, tests, and presentations in front of classmates. While it's valuable to learn public speaking skills and to be able to perform under pressure, for some people, these classroom pressures are a big hurdle for their language learning dreams. Learning alone, however, removes these stressors. Learning outside of a traditional classroom setting can help reduce some of the stress you may feel, and you can work towards your goals all on your own. Number 3. Learning alone can help improve cognitive function. While classroom settings often require learners to spend lots of time memorizing information and following instructions, studying a language on your own requires you to problem solve so that you can self-teach and hit your goals. You'll also need to be strict with yourself and stick to a regular study schedule. So yes, in some ways, learning a language on your own can be more challenging than learning in a traditional classroom setting. But teaching yourself a language pays dividends throughout life. In addition to learning a language, you'll also learn time management and problem-solving skills. These are skills that will aid you when social and professional opportunities arise. So, how do you actually learn a language on your own? Number 1. Access our huge collection of audio and video lessons. Ideally, you want audio and/or video lessons that teach vocabulary, grammar, and provide actual conversations and dialogue in your target language to help you with real pronunciation. We have hundreds of hours of HD audio and video lessons on our website, created by professional teachers and actors to help you achieve perfect pronunciation. Plus, all lessons can be accessed 24/7 via any device with internet access. Number 2. Learning paths with courses based upon your exact needs and goals. Simply tell us your goals and we will identify the best courses and study plan to help you reach them in the shortest time possible. Even though you are technically learning a language on your own, our team is always here to help and make sure you reach your goals fast. Number 3. Use advanced learning tools. When you have the right tools and learning resources, it's actually easy to teach yourself a language. Over the last 10 years, we've developed, tested, and refined more than 20 advanced learning tools. These tools aim to boost retention and reduce learning time. Eliminate stress and start learning at your own pace, in bed, your car, or wherever you have a few spare minutes. Our learning resources and tools are designed to help you get to the next level in the fastest, easiest, and most fun way. Just click the link in the description to sign up for a free lifetime account. So if you want to learn language anytime, anywhere, sign up for a free lifetime account by clicking the link in the description. Sign up takes less than 30 seconds. Click the link in the description and start learning right away. I'll see you there. Bye! Want to master grammar so you can speak properly, express yourself better, and understand more? In this video, I'll show you how to master grammar with our lessons and learning program. Let's begin. Number 1. Listen to the lesson conversations and explanations. In every lesson, you learn a conversation. Then, our teachers break down every word and grammar rule. So you're actually learning grammar rules in the context of conversations, and you can easily see how they're used. Once you're done, review the conversation again and again to remember what you've learned. Number 2, read the bonus explanations and tutorials. With the lesson notes, you get extra grammar explanations and examples that are not presented in the lesson. After you're done with the lesson, read the lesson notes for extra review. You can even save them as PDFs so that you can access them anytime. Number 3, leave a comment on the lesson. Once you've learned a grammar point, be sure to use it. Leave a comment in the comments section. Write some example sentences for practice. Our teachers will review your comment and give you feedback. Number 4, unlock even more grammar lessons. If you want to find all of the grammar lessons available, visit our lesson library. Under Category, choose Grammar. You'll get all of the pathways and lessons dedicated to helping you learn and master sentence patterns and grammar points. So, if you're ready to finally learn a new language the fast, fun, and easy way, sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Signing up takes less than 30 seconds, and you'll start speaking from your very first lesson. If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share it with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye! Have you always wanted to learn a new language? You probably have your own reason for wanting to learn, but there are huge benefits to being bilingual that you might not know about. In this video, I'll introduce a few of them. Here are some reasons why you should learn a new language. Number 1, you become smarter. Studies show that learning a new language improves your focus and memory. It improves your decision-making. You score higher on intelligence tests, and you're less likely to be swayed by propaganda. Number 2, you make more friends. Because you get to communicate with more people, you can meet more people and make more friends. This will help you get more opportunities, like jobs. Number 3, find love. The more people you meet, the more opportunities you have of finding that special someone. Number 4, you can travel with ease. Simply because you can express yourself confidently in another language. Catching a cab, ordering food, and getting around will never be a problem. Number 5, you're more open-minded and feel more empathy. Because a new language puts you in another culture's shoes. When you can speak in another language, you see the world the way that the native speakers do. In fact, when some bilinguals switch from one language to another, they also switch personalities and express themselves differently. For example, people tend to feel more direct and assertive when speaking English, and more polite when speaking Japanese. So this allows you to understand others' worldviews and connect with people on a deeper level. Number 6, you delay the mental effects of aging. By 4 or 5 years. Learning and mastering another language sharpens your brain and increases the amount of gray matter, which helps delay dementia. So if you're ready to finally learn and master a new language the fast, fun, and easy way, sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Signing up takes less than 30 seconds, and you'll start speaking from your very first lesson. If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye! When learning a new language, we sometimes have a hard time with things like procrastination, discouragement, or failure. But don't panic. With a good strategy, you'll be able to overcome these difficulties. Are you ready to discover the 4 habits of successful learners? Number 1, optimize your time. When learning a language, it's important to dedicate time to your studies regularly, even if sometimes it's difficult. You're busy with school, work, family, or friends, but you can spread out your learning throughout the day. Study whenever you have small gaps of time in your busy schedule. This can be when you're on the metro, on your lunch break, or while you're exercising. Our podcast learning format fits perfectly into your tight schedule. Number 2, consistency with your chosen method. There are a lot of options when it comes to courses and learning materials. Switching from one method to another can confuse you and disrupt your progress. Focusing on one learning method will make a difference. Our method has been created and optimized by real teachers, so you can stick to it with confidence. Number 3, use your language background. Many languages share some commonalities. You can find words that look or sound similar, or even share the same grammar structure. A little bit of language background will give you an edge while learning. Number 4, study continuously. People are excited when they start learning a new language. The enthusiasm usually lasts until the first roadblock. This can lead to discouragement and procrastination. But don't burn yourself out. Learning a language is a marathon, not a sprint. Don't try to learn it all at once. Break things down into more digestible chunks. Learning step by step might feel slow, but it's an efficient way to learn a language. With patience, motivation, and good resources, you'll master the language. Remember, you can't learn a language overnight, but with motivation and these daily lessons, you'll be on the road to fluency. Give it a try now. Sign up for your account. Just click the link in the description. If you're learning a new language, there will be times when you'll struggle with the lesson, when you won't fully understand what you've learned, when you'll be in a rut, or when you just won't feel like you're making any progress. And that's totally normal. In this video, you'll learn what to do if you're not learning and how to overcome language learning struggles. Let's begin. Number 1, understand the mindset of a successful learner. Some learners are more successful than others. A key difference between successful learners and less successful learners is in the way they approach problems. Some learners rely completely on a learning program. If there's a grammar rule or word they don't understand, they get frustrated and blame the program. They don't look for solutions. Successful learners approach problems a little differently. If they encounter a problem, they look for a solution or ask for help instead of getting frustrated. You may feel frustrated at times, especially if you're a beginner, but how you choose to react will make all the difference. Number 2, set small, measurable, realistic goals with a deadline. Most learners fail because they set big, vague goals, like, I want to be fluent. When they realize they have no idea how to do that, they lose motivation and quit. The solution to this? Set small, measurable, realistic goals with a deadline. For example, finish 10 audio lessons by the end of this week. Learn 20 words by the end of this week. Speak 1 minute of conversation by the end of this month. Listen to lessons for just 5 minutes a day, every day this month. Now your goals are small and realistic enough to accomplish. They're specific and measurable, so you know when you reach them, and the deadline gives you a finish line. For example, either you learned all 20 words by Friday or you didn't. When you reach your goal, you gain a ton of confidence. This improves your chances of reaching your next goal because you've had experience reaching a goal and you understand the things you need to do to be successful. Number 3, read along with the lesson notes and lesson transcripts. Now, what if you're doing a lesson but you can't catch a word? Take advantage of the lesson notes and lesson transcripts and read along with the lesson. The lesson notes give you in-depth grammar and vocabulary explanations that are not available in the lesson. And the lesson notes give you the word-for-word transcript of everything said in the lesson. So if you want to pick up every word, read the transcript. Number 4, review, because repetition is the mother of all learning. If you're struggling with a particular word, grammar rule, or lesson, be sure to repeat and review it a few times. And then, come back a few days later and review it again. This same principle is used in our spaced repetition flashcards. The system quizzes you on words, then re-quizzes you in 3 days, then in 6 days, and so on, until the word gets embedded in your long-term memory. Some things you can do right now are: download the lesson and lesson notes. Save the words to your word bank, or even write down the words or grammar rules. Then come back to review them later. Number 5, reach out to our teachers and ask questions. If you're a Premium Plus member, you can easily get in touch with your teacher and get all of your points of confusion cleared up. Or you can always leave a comment on our lessons, and our teachers will get back to you. Remember, you're not alone. If you're struggling with a lesson, you can always get in touch with us. Number 6, take a break and go do something else. Another thing you can do is take a break and do something else that doesn't require much thinking. There's a reason our best ideas come while in the shower or while taking a walk. While you're on a break, your brain is more relaxed and starts making connections that you couldn't see when you were focused and stressed out. It's also why coming back to review things with a fresh mind can help you better understand the lessons you've taken. Number 7, downgrade your learning routine. If you're studying for 30 minutes a day and find yourself overwhelmed, or if you suddenly find yourself busy, the best thing to do is to reduce your study routine to something easier and more manageable. If you've been learning 30 minutes a day, drop down to 10 or 15 minutes. Even 5 minutes is good enough because language learning success comes with consistency. Quitting and coming back every 3 months won't work. This brings us to our next point. Number 8. Remember, learning a language is a marathon, not a sprint. Think about it. You can't cram for 5 hours and expect to remember everything you've studied. So, just like with a marathon, it's okay to go slow and at your own pace, even if you're learning for just 5 minutes a day. Similarly, if you're having trouble understanding a grammar point or a lesson, don't let it bring you down. Learning a language is a marathon, a long-term game. The little points of confusion you have now are just small obstacles, and you'll fully understand them with time. So, if you're ready to finally learn a new language the fast, fun, and easy way, sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Signing up takes less than 30 seconds, and you'll start speaking from your very first lesson. If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye! If you're tired of knowing and speaking the language at a basic level and want to express yourself fluently just like native speakers, then you'll need to learn grammar. The problem? It can be tricky to learn. But don't worry. In this guide, you'll discover how to learn and master grammar with the Grammar Bank. 1. Where to get all of the grammar explanations you'll ever need. 2. The best way to learn grammar that's right for your level. And 3. How to expose yourself to real examples until the rules become natural to you with a study tool called the Grammar Bank inside of our learning program. But first, if you don't yet have access to our program, sign up for a free lifetime account right now. Just click the link in the description. First, what is the Grammar Bank? The Grammar Bank is like a grammar dictionary, except online. It's a database of the must-know grammar rules and explanations that makes it easy to look up specific rules and learn them. Look for it in the top menu of our site. 2. How do you learn grammar with it? The best way to learn grammar is not to just study rules, but to learn in context and hear the grammar used in real life. And that's exactly how you learn with our lessons. You learn a quick conversation and hear how the grammar rules are used within that conversation. 3. What if you come across grammar that you're not familiar with? Or what if you want to review a specific rule without going back to redo a lesson? That's where the Grammar Bank comes in. You can look up grammar rules and get the explanations, examples, and links to lessons where we cover these rules. You can also sort grammar by learning level. So if you're an absolute beginner and want to make sure you know all of the absolute beginner grammar rules, you can do just that with the Grammar Bank. You can also sort the rules by spelling, category, and lesson series. And if you want to get used to the grammar patterns so that you can use them in conversation and become fluent, the best way is to expose yourself to examples as much as possible. Grammar is hard at first, but gets easy once you get used to it with enough exposure. Be sure to access the related lessons inside the Grammar Bank and listen to the native conversations that use the rule as much as possible. So, if you want to become fluent and speak perfectly, you'll need grammar. Take advantage of the Grammar Bank inside of our learning program. But if you don't yet have access, sign up for a free lifetime account right now. Just click the link in the description to sign up. Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Greek ebook before it's gone.